Wellness Talk. We have Shellie Deloyer today,
Yes, you did.
and she is a specialist in career coaching and guidance, as well as an NLP coach and a whole bunch of wonderful things. And here to tell us the latest and greatest about career tips
Absolutely.
is Shellie. So, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Tell what is going on out there.
What
It's
is going on out
crazy.
there? Isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it? Yeah. There are so many students and adults who, at any stage in their life, are feeling like they don't know who they are, they don't know what they want, but wherever they are now isn't it.
Okay.
And so, the questions of who am I, what do I really want, and how do I get there versus where I am now.
And from what I'm seeing, even corporations don't know. It's like everybody's in this, all of a sudden, this unknown.
Yeah.
And yeah, so guide us
Yes.
through it. What do you encounter right now?
I believe we are at a very strong transition point
Okay.
right now in society in general
Okay.
for what people want and what corporations want and how the dynamic is working, what the labor force demands,
Mhm.
and how those interactions are taking place. Everything's changing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
Yes, change sends shivers down people's spines.
Isn't it
I
true?
love change, but I do know it's one of the hardest things to do.
Right.
So let's start with the people for whom this means the most change, which are your Gen Xers and your baby boomers,
Right. Yeah. And millennials as well are facing a whole different type of change.
Okay, so I would think, I would instantly think that they are, because this is what they're kind of born into, this is their first experience within the job market, that to them it's not change, it's just what it is. But you're
Right.
telling me it is change as well.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
if you think of anyone who's already at a big transition point, anybody who's transitioning from high school into post-secondary, or they're transitioning from post-secondary into the working world, there's a lot of change in their own world as it is. And at the same time, a lot of the advice that they're getting is from their parents or their parents' generation that are telling them,
Okay.
this is how you get a job, this is what you need to do. But all of that has changed.
That's right.
So a lot of the advice that they're getting may not be relevant for them anymore.
Okay.
And they're already dealing with change just by being at the transition point they're at in their life.
So they're getting, I can see a conflict happening there. So they're getting the messages that are no longer the case, although well intended.
Of course.
You do have that parent-child, I know better than you, right? So there's that playing in the background.
Right.
And then you have the child or the millennial. They're
Right.
They're not quite young. Like some are
Right.
in their 20s, the early 30s. You got them saying, but that's not what I'm seeing out there. Like
Right.
even if they're trying with the best of intention to follow their parents' advice, that is not what they're seeing.
Right.
Right?
And it's not what they want. What their parents wanted is probably not what they want.
So tell me about that. What do you mean?
There's so many young people today, and this was the case for me too, who we just want to stand out. We want to do what we want to do. We want to be ourselves.
Okay.
Yet so much of society is telling us to conform, and this is the way you do it. Here's the process.
Okay.
Do well in school, get the degree.
This is the formula.
Exactly. Here is the formula for life. Do all of these things.
It's like the game of life. I'm just
Exactly.
visioning like these are exactly. Like,
Once
these
I
are the
collect
only
all the red
options.
cards,
That's right. Oh
my deck
goodness.
is full. I get the degree. I do well in school.
And
I try hard.
puppy
I
dogs
work
and rainbows.
hard. Right. Yeah.
Okay. So what is
Graduate, get the
happening?
job, find the man, get married, buy the house, have the kids. Dun dun dun. Oh wait.
Buy the bigger house.
Why am I not happy?
Correct. Why am I divorced?
Right.
Yeah, it's all of
Yeah.
it, right?
Where is the job? The job was supposed to come. The job didn't come.
The working your way from the mailroom to the C-suite.
Right.
They're myths now.
They
right?
are. They really
Yeah.
are. They really are.
So what is happening out there?
What is
I'm almost
happening?
afraid to go out now. What
Right,
is
and I think that's the way a
happening
lot
out
of people feel is
Mhm.
it's scary because it's change.
there? Okay.
So my job really is to help people find the excitement in the change instead of the fear.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So what's happening out there is a transition from the old way that things were always done, in which case you could just climb the corporate ladder and you work hard and you put in your hours and you do your best
Pay
and
your dues.
exactly
Mhm.
work your way to the top, to a time when a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to answer to somebody else all the time and be told what everybody, or to be told what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to have more control. They want to have more freedom.
More balance.
Much more balance.
When you think of it, it's quite draconian that, people felt, because I worked in human resources for a very long time, and, people would almost have to apologize for having to go to the doctor or take their kids to the doctor.
Right.
Like a horrible life, when you think about it.
Yeah. You owed your life to somebody else, your company.
Yeah.
You owed them.
It makes me think back to the old days of pioneers in the West, that the company owned the town.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, and that's definitely still happening in some places. But there is a big shift towards much more autonomy, independence, freedom, and flexibility at the cost of permanent positions.
That's right. So it's a trade-off.
It is.
So now you're getting more flexibility, more independence, more self-direction.
Right.
But you are losing some of the security and some of the steady paycheck and performance evaluation at the end of the, you know what I mean? That formulaic. There was a little bit of good that came with that.
Definitely.
Right?
A lot more stability and a lot more security that is now drifting away at the advantage of the flexibility and freedom.
So it's almost like you have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Get outside of that comfort zone to the point where you're okay with it. Because you're going to stay
Or that is the comfort zone.
Exactly. And then once it becomes comfortable, you need to get outside of it again.
Oh my goodness. What was it? Just when I figured out all of life's answers, it changed the questions.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where the excitement can be.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't have to be so scary.
So how are the three, given that, which I get, and but given that, how are the three, because there's really three generations that are
coming to fore,
that are all coming to the same space, because the boomers were supposed to be freed on 55, and they didn't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The Gen Xers are sandwiched between the two, and the millennials with the new technology have really become the cornerstone of a lot of businesses. So how do the three dance this dance?
I think a lot of it has to do with finding the value in each of them, because they bring very different gifts, talents, and strengths to the workplace.
So you cannot have all young people.
No.
All
recipe for disaster.
Boomers or all middle people.
Right. And now we even have Generation Z, which are the people who are
millennials.
coming out of high school soon. And
what happens after Generation Z?
Go back to AA.
A1, A2. Oh,
I'm not sure, but
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're coming out of high school and entering the game now too.
That's right.
And they're different again.
They're entering the workforce, right? Mm-hmm. And what is left for them? My goodness.
Well, the thing with today is things are changing at a rate faster than things have ever changed in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So every new generation that comes to the working world now has a whole new purpose, a whole new mindset, because everything's changed again. Just like it did for millennials, now it's changing again.
So I'm thinking here. So I have a financial HR hybrid kind of a background. Mm-hmm. Are we looking at a time when wages are going lower as a self-employed contract than before? Is that so, for starters?
Okay.
And second, that means profitability for the company, which is great. At what cost?
So I think the same way that we've always had competition between companies, and companies had to figure out how to get smaller, leaner, cheaper, so they could win out and compete. The same thing will likely happen with independent contractors, where now if I'm an independent contractor, I've got more competition for that job, because that's the way more and more people are going.
So you need to offer better value.
Right, that's exactly it. You're either going to have to be cheaper, or you need to provide more of what they actually need.
So thank you. Sounds to me like we just upped the game. Mm-hmm. And companies, and by extension their clients, would benefit from now having more accountability, perhaps, and better quality of input, right?
Right.
But what does that mean to wages, to income.
Right. And the whole future of work really is very mysterious right now.
Okay.
There's a lot of theories, there's a lot of guesses and predictions around where the future of work is going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most people really think it's going much more automated, much more technical, and so that, is very much likely the case. However, where are wages going? If much of our jobs are becoming automated, then where are those people going to find work?
Where's the value? Yeah.
Where's the value? Those are a lot of unanswered questions right now.
Thank goodness we have you.
Well, thank you. So really, I mean, the goal for a lot of people can't be to know where the job is going to be, because we don't know where that job is going to be.
Yeah.
We can guess and predict, and things like computers and technology are going to be more and more in demand.
Mm-hmm.
Engineering continues to be in demand. Healthcare with an aging population is definitely going to be continuously in demand.
Mm-hmm.
Social services, absolutely. Mental health is on the rise as a big need.
Okay.
So these are the occupations that we know are in demand and are expected to continue being in demand.
All of a sudden, marketing and social media and promotion and communications
Right.
is back to the forefront
It
as
really
well.
is. And the skilled trades.
Skilled
Trades.
trades.
Oh my goodness. When I was in high school, our school was promoting skilled trades and trying to get people into apprentices that could fulfill the need that we have for labor market jobs right now. The real physical labor type
But
jobs.
we have been conditioned by the school system
Yes.
into this white-collar nation.
Right. People are looking at those jobs going,
They're
I want
dirty
to break
jobs.
my back
Yeah.
for the next 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the mindset. Although there are some amazing opportunities in skilled trades right now, it's really not for everyone.
Yeah. And skilled trades technology has changed skilled trades as well.
It really has.
Right. So there is something to be said for revisiting
Right.
what those jobs look like now,
Right.
opposite to what they did, 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
So wow.
They're very different.
So insightful.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, for a lot of people who are thinking about where do I want to go in my career, what kind of job do I want to have, what kind of life am I setting myself up for, it's not so much about guessing where the jobs are going to be, because if that is not the job for you, it will not matter if there's 100 of them.
Right. Yeah, that is right.
Yeah.
So it's about, I read somewhere that it's about what problem you're solving.
Mm-hmm.
And double fulfillment, right? Back to
Absolutely.
that. And you may again sacrifice income. Maybe not forever.
Right.
But in the time you're figuring this out, right?
Yeah.
So when someone wants to find these things out, they come to you, right?
They do.
And it's a one-on-one, right?
Mostly.
So it's a process of what would a session look like?
So we set up a program,
Mm-hmm.
and the program is designed to focus on, firstly, understanding who you are, why you're here, and what you really want.
Okay.
And this is the very personal approach, digging down deep into your why.
Okay.
Simon Sinek often talks
Mhm.
about find your why, start with why. And I'm a huge, huge, huge believer, because I've been in the position where I focused on what I was doing instead of why I was doing it,
Mm.
and there's no fulfillment.
Search for a purpose, not for happiness.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, took me a while to get my quotations.
That's okay.
So,
Search for a purpose. Yeah, that's exactly it. And when we start with why or we start with heart, it's all about finding your purpose,
Mhm.
which is your why, knowing why you're here, why you chose to get into this profession,
Mhm.
why you are contributing to your community, to your family, to society as a whole.
Yeah.
What does it do for you?
These are questions that we're not used to asking.
No.
So it's really important. I know you and I have had many conversations, and I can see how some of these questions completely would open someone's mind and heart and possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
They really
you work at the Wellness Center a couple of days a week in Markham.
Yes.
So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you,
Mhm.
how would they go about it?
My business is called Bright Futures.
Okay.
You can find me easily on Google or my website. And the easiest thing to do is to meet me for a complimentary consult first,
Okay.
because this is a whole new world for a lot of people.
Yes, of course.
These are questions they're not used to being asked. They're digging into things that they have not known how to dig into or that they even need to dig into. And so to decide for yourself if this is right for you, it's best to come and meet with me, get an idea of who I am, what I'm all about, how I can help, and decide for yourself, is this what I need or not?
Okay,
And then
wonderful.
Yeah.
So we'll put the contact information, and if anybody wants to get a hold of you, then for sure they'll know how to find you. And we'll have you again. There's so many questions that are coming to mind that is little bites, and we'll dig through.
That's exactly it. It can be very overwhelming to try and deliver it all at one time.
Yeah.
And so it's a process and a journey for everyone.
So I want to talk about, we will schedule other sessions where we can give some advice to parents and we can give some advice to the different generations. And I think our audience will really appreciate that.
Awesome. That sounds wonderful.
Well, thank you, and I'm so glad
you.
to stop by. And we will be seeing you around.